If you have been hit with a notification that you need to complete the business operation verification within Google Ads, in this video, I'm going to give my best tips for completing the business operation verification. Now, this is actually different from the advertiser verification that every advertiser needs to complete within Google Ads. So not every business has to do the business operation verification, but every business has to complete an advertiser verification in order to run Google Ads. So what is the business operation verification? And I tried to find some help articles on Google talking about this, but it's one of those things that Google hasn't actually written any real help articles about. I was able to find this search engine land article, but this is pretty much an article giving an update as to why, as to Google letting people know why they failed it. So I'm going to explain really quickly what the business operation verification is. It's an initiative designed by Google to enhance transparency and trust in the digital advertising industry. Not every advertiser needs to complete it. It's only a mandatory process for selected advertisers to verify their business operations. So I've seen clients in multiple different industries get hit with this business operation verification request. Clients in architecture, in hospice care, in beauty services get hit with this. And I don't think that it's just like one industry. I mean, based off of what I've seen, it's just kind of a mixed bag. And the business operation verification includes details about the advertiser's business model, registration information, product or service offerings, and business practices. If you've completed the advertiser verification, you know that it's just a matter of submitting your ID plus something from the IRS or some type of business verification document. The business operation verification takes it many steps further and asks a lot of detailed questions about your business. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and who needs to complete it. You only need to complete it if Google asks you to do it, and you'll be notified via email, or you'll also be notified in the Google Ads dashboard when you log in. At the very top, it's going to say, please verify your business operations. You've got 30 days to do so. And 30 days is typically from the day that they send you the request to do it. And I would highly suggest you just jump on it as soon as you see it, because it might take you multiple tries to get through and actually pass the verification. The application form, I'm not able to pull that up because I just submitted a business operation verification yesterday, and none of my other clients are requesting me to fill any of this out, and I don't have any requests from Google to fill this out for any other client. So with that being said, I'm unable to share with you the actual questions, but I can give you an idea of what type of questions they ask and give you some tips on how to go about answering them. So here are the things that you're going to need in order to do this business operation verification. You're going to need time. Google says it takes 20 minutes. I would say probably budget 30 to 45 minutes if this is your first time doing it. You need documents. The reason why it does take a lot of time, by the way, is because there's probably a good 30 to 40 or even 50 questions that it asks about your business, your customers, your clients, your privacy policy, and all these other things. So you're going to want to sit down and give thoughtful answers because you don't want to just rush through it and Google's just going to reject you anyway. So here are the things that you're going to need. You're going to need your business registration documents, whether it's a business license, something to do with your, how you formed your business, industry-specific licenses. So if you need specific licenses in order to perform your services, you need to get those. Proof of relationships with third parties like marketing agencies. If you have agencies or freelancers logging into your account outside of your business, you are going to need to show proof of relationships. And typically it's just going to be the agreement that you had with them in writing. So have these documents in a PDF, JPEG, or PNG format so that you can upload into the business verification portal. You need to provide detailed information. You need to explain your business model in the business operation verification. They're going to ask, are you an authorized reseller? Or are you an affiliate, direct provider? And describe your product or service offerings. Detail your business practices and outline relationships with advertised brands or third parties if you work with third parties like agencies or freelancers. Now, another thing that you need to pay attention to is ensuring consistency. If you're uploading documents and one document has your name as something, but then on another document it has your name as something and they don't match up, Google can reject you because of reasons that are so trivial like that. But because the names are not matching up, Google will just say that this is not legitimate and it needs to match correctly. You need to use the same business name across all your responses in the documentation, and you will be asked to address all aspects of your business. Include information about all the parties involved in your value chain, like your marketing agency, your end service providers, domain owners. I know this sounds like a lot of information, and to be honest, it's TMI, too much information in terms of what Google needs to know. But I found that by giving them that information, it actually gets them off your back. Because I've had clients that will just say, oh, I don't use an agency, to try to skirt around it. But then they see that someone's actually logging into the ad account and making changes. So then they won't accept their business operation verification. So don't lie to Google. Just be very straightforward. If you are operating an ethical business, you should be completely fine. Just make sure that you're answering every question as truthfully as possible. After you answer all questions, probably about 30 to 50 questions, you're going to get a notification saying that they received your information via email and they will be getting back to you within 10 days. I typically see them getting back to me within 1 to 3 business days, so it's a lot quicker than that. So here are some of my best tips for successful verification. Number 1, respond promptly. Google gives you 30 days of a deadline to complete this to avoid account pausing. If you don't complete this, your account will be paused. You won't be able to run ads. Be thorough. Provide as much comprehensive information about your business operations, practices, and relationships. Also ensure that your document quality is clear, legible, and so forth. Double check consistency. Make sure that the information matches across all your documents and your Google Ads accounts. And also explain your relationships. If your business model involves multiple parties, provide clear explanations, supporting documentation. What I found is in the recent verifications that I've had to do, they'll ask for your privacy policy. They'll ask how you store and ensure that your client's information remains safe so that you away from hackers and things like that. So you need to have an answer for Google when it comes to how you keep your first party data safe. Here are some common challenges that I've seen. I've actually been rejected multiple times. That's why whenever I get these notifications via email for clients, I get a little bit nervous, not because I'm doing anything wrong, but because I've had situations where I've had to do the verification multiple times and Google has not actually given me a reason for why something has been rejected. But just so that everyone knows, with this article that Search Engine Land released, now Google, as of 2023, which is about 2 years ago, Google's telling advertisers why they failed the business operation verification, because it can be hard to complete because it requires a lot of information. You can't save the form. You can't just start it and then save it. That's why I said you need to give it a good 30 to 45 minutes to sit down and answer every question with as much detail as possible. And as you're doing it, if I were you, I would copy and paste those answers into a separate document in case Google asks you to re-verify it again. And chances are, if this is your first time doing it, you probably will be asked to do it again. I have had clients where I've had to do this maybe 5 to even 10 times to even get verified because the client needed more information, because they were reselling certain products, and we needed to get the contract that the client had with that third-party company. It was just so many details that Google was requiring. So don't skirt around trying to give Google the answers and giving Google the details, because Google will look into things and will question things, and it will deny you. So just so that you know, that's what happens with this business operation verification. Now they tell you why you failed. Before, they didn't. They would just say you failed. And then you would just have to go back, spin your wheels, and figure out why, which is the most frustrating thing. If your business has a complex structure or multiple relationships, provide those detailed explanations and documents for each entity involved, meaning documents explaining the relationship. If you're unable to provide certain documents, explain why and offer alternative forms of verification. And then, let's see, other things that I would say, this is something that that's going to initially seem daunting. Successful completion of the BOV, though, can really benefit multiple advertisers by demonstrating their legitimacy. If you pass this, then that really demonstrates your legitimacy, because Google went through your entire business operations with documents to really prove that you are a legitimate advertiser. Now, when my clients pass this, I don't see anything different about the notifications in their ads saying that they were, verified as, their business operations were verified. I'd be curious as time goes on to see if Google gives a check mark or something to let customers know that this client went through all these hoops and that Google has successfully vetted them and their business model and their business relationships to know that they were legitimate. I know that it might seem like TMI for Google to be asking about your agency relationships and to upload screenshots and agreements between you and your agency. And in fact, I used to think that too. I still do, but that's just what Google needs in order to do the verification. So as long as you're being honest, and as long as you're running an ethical business and you're not doing anything that's completely, outside of Google's ad policies, you shouldn't have any major issues filling this out. And plus, Google's now telling you why you failed. Before, they would just say, tough luck, figure it out. So that's what I have for you. Like I said, I wasn't able to find any actual real articles about BOV on the Google advertising help articles pages, but I was able to find this business operation verification YouTube video. I can drop the link in the description below for you guys to check out and pre-vet before you start the verification process. So like I said, I'm not going to take you through the step-by-step on how to do that, but those are my best tips on how you can go about filling it out. Honestly, I don't think that you need to pay someone to do this for you as long as you're running a legitimate business, but it may seem daunting because of the amount of questions that they're asking. So if you need any help, first reach out to Google and see what they have to say. But if you're really running in circles to figure this out because you don't know how to describe your business in a certain way, or you just don't know how to answer certain questions and you keep getting rejected, feel free to reach out, or to reach out to any other professional and see if they could potentially help you. If you have any questions about your Google Ads account in particular, in terms of performance, need an audit or managed services, and you're spending at least $2,000 a month, check out the link below in the description and reach out to me. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and I post videos about Google Ads every week, and I'll see you guys in the next one.